Imagine losing someone who wasn't just a star, but a piece of your childhood. Someone whose laugh warmed your living room, whose mistakes taught you it was okay to mess up, whose smile felt like family. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, the man who brought Theo Huxtable to life, is gone. On July 20th, 2025, a tragedy in Costa Rica stole him from us, leaving fans, co-stars, and a generation grappling with a loss that feels personal. What happened in his final moments? Why are people whispering about the pain he might have carried? This isn't just a story about a celebrity. It's about a man who shaped how we saw ourselves, a man whose light burned bright even when shadows loomed. Let's dive into the life, legacy, and unanswered questions surrounding Malcolm-Jamal Warner, because the truth behind his story will leave you speechless. Born on August 18, 1970, in Jersey City, New Jersey, Malcolm-Jamal Warner came into the world with a name that carried weight. Malcolm, after Malcolm X, and Jamal, inspired by jazz pianist Ahmad Jamal. Raised by his mother, a manager who nurtured his talents, young Malcolm found his spark early. By age 5, he'd moved to Los Angeles, where his mom enrolled him in performing arts schools, sensing he was destined for something big. Acting wasn't just a hobby, it was his calling. He started small, landing roles in commercials and bit parts, but everything changed when he was 13. Picture this, a nationwide casting call for a new sitcom, The Cosby Show. They wanted a tall, lanky 16-year-old to play Theo Huxtable, the only son of Cliff and Claire. Malcolm, barely 5'7" and not yet a teen, didn't fit the mold. But his agent pushed, and on the very last day of auditions, he walked in. Bill Cosby himself saw something: charisma, heart, that undeniable spark. Malcolm got the part, and just like that, he became America's son. From 1984 to 1992, The Cosby Show wasn't just a sitcom, it was a cultural earthquake. For 8 seasons, it gave the world a black middle-class family that felt real. Loving, flawed, and funny. Theo Huxtable was the heart of it, the teenager we all saw ourselves in. Struggling with school? Theo had that iconic episode where Cliff taught him about budgeting by stripping his room bare. Sneaking an ear piercing? Theo tried to hide it from Claire, only to get that classic mom stare. Malcolm's performance wasn't just acting, it was lived in, raw, relatable. In 1986, at just 16, he earned an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. Fans flooded the show with letters saying Theo made them feel seen, like their own family struggles mattered. Malcolm later told People in 2023, "The show legitimized the black middle class, something America hadn't seen on TV before. We got letters from folks saying, 'That's my family up there.' But fame at 13 comes with a cost. Behind the scenes, Malcolm was growing up under a spotlight, carrying the weight of being a role model for millions. What did that pressure do to him? That's where the story takes a turn. After The Cosby Show ended, Malcolm didn't rest on his laurels. He was hungry to prove he was more than Theo. In 1996, he teamed up with Eddie Griffin for Malcolm Eddie, a UPN sitcom that ran 4 seasons. Playing Malcolm McGee, a straight-laced radio host opposite Griffin's chaotic energy, he showed he could hold his own in comedy. The show was a hit, cementing his versatility. He didn't stop there. From 2011 to 2015, he starred with Tracy Ellis Ross in Read Between the Lines on BET, playing a family man blending love and chaos. Then came The Resident, where from 2018 to 2023, he brought depth to Dr. A.J. Austin, a cardiothoracic surgeon with a sharp mind and sharper wit. But acting was just one piece of him. Malcolm directed episodes of The Cosby Show, Kenan Kel, and even music videos for New Edition. He picked up the bass guitar at 26, and in 2015, he won a Grammy for contributing to a cover of Stevie Wonder's Jesus, Children of America. In 2022, his spoken word poetry album Hiding in Plain View earned a Grammy nod. The man was a force, actor, director, musician, poet. Yet with every accolade, there were whispers. Was the smile we loved hiding something deeper? In May 2024, Malcolm launched Not All Hood, a podcast with Wosi Baraka and Candace Kelly. It wasn't about chasing clout, it was about truth. He told People, "We talk about the Black community as a monolith, but there are so many facets. I wanted a space to explore that, to talk about mental health, representation, everything." Episodes dove into heavy topics: Black identity, the pressure of stereotypes, the weight of being seen as perfect. Malcolm's voice was warm but urgent, like he was sharing something he'd held back for years. In one episode, he said, "The hood gets co-opted into mainstream culture, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's where we create, where we survive." Fans loved his vulnerability, but some started to wonder, was he speaking from personal experience? Social media buzzed with comments about his tone, how it carried a quiet exhaustion. Nothing was confirmed, but the podcast felt like Malcolm peeling back layers we'd never seen. Was he trying to tell us something? That question lingered as tragedy struck. Let's talk about the rumors because they're out there. Fans on X have been digging into old interviews, piecing together clues about Malcolm's inner world. In a 2007 clip that's gone viral, he said, "I've spent my life playing the perfect son, the funny one. Sometimes I wish people knew how hard it was to carry that smile." At the time, it seemed like a throwaway line. Now it's haunting. A Cosby Show writer posted on X in 2025, claiming Malcolm once told him, "If I die young, I wasn't running away. I was just tired of hiding the weight." Fans latched onto it, speculating he was battling silent struggles. Maybe depression, maybe the pressure of fame. Let's be clear, there's no official confirmation of this. No medical records, no family statements. These are whispers, not facts. But they hit hard because Malcolm was so good at making us believe he was okay. He carried Theo's charm into every role, every interview, every smile. And yet, a 2015 Billboard interview where he called Bill Cosby a mentor but admitted the allegations against him were painful, hinted at a man wrestling with complex emotions. Was he hiding pain behind the spotlight? We may never know, but the question pulls us to his final day. July 20th, 2025 started like any other vacation day. Malcolm was in Costa Rica, at Playa Cocos in Lyman, with his wife and 8-year-old daughter. The beach was stunning but notorious for rip currents, with red flag dotting the sand and no lifeguards on duty that day. Around 2:00 p.m., Malcolm and a friend waded into the water. His daughter, safe on the shore, watched as the sea turned brutal. Reports from people in CNN say a strong current swept them out. Bystanders, including a surfer who'd once been a volunteer lifeguard, rushed in. The friend, a 29-year-old Nicaraguan, made it out, battered but alive, and was treated at a local clinic. Malcolm wasn't so lucky. Rescuers pulled him to shore, but the Costa Rican Red Cross found no vital signs. CPR failed. An autopsy later confirmed asphyxiation by submersion, drowning. The Judicial Investigation Agency called it accidental, a tragedy of nature's unpredictability. Malcolm's body was moved to a morgue in Heredia. His family left to plan a funeral far from home. But the story didn't end there. The world's reaction was about to show just how much he meant. Hollywood broke when the news hit. Tracy Ellis Ross, his co-star from Read Between the Lines, posted on Instagram, "I love you, Malcolm. My heart is so sad. You were warm, gentle, funny, elegant." Eddie Griffin, his Malcolm Eddie partner, wrote, "My heart is heavy. We went to war against the Hollywood machine, but the love was always there." Jennifer Love Hewitt, who worked with him on 9-1-1 in 2024, called him a gentleman, an incredible talent. Even Bill Cosby, despite his own controversies, shared a statement through a rep, saying Malcolm's death felt like losing his son Ennis all over again. On X, Not My Theo trended in 17 countries. Fans posted clips of Theo's heart-to-hearts with Claire, layered with sad piano music, racking up millions of views. One user wrote, "I named my son after him. Theo taught me I could be smart even if I messed up." Another said, "This hurts like losing family." Phylicia Rashad, Claire Huxtable herself, hasn't spoken publicly, and those dramatic scenes of her collapsing. Unverified, likely exaggerated for clicks. But as Theo's on-screen mom, her grief is undeniable. She once told CBS News in 2023, "Malcolm was my boy on and off the set." That bond wasn't acting, and it's why this loss cuts so deep. Malcolm-Jamal Warner wasn't just a star, he was a mirror. Through Theo, he showed us Black families could be joyful, complex, real. He inspired kids to chase dreams, to laugh through mistakes. His podcast pushed for mental health awareness, for breaking stereotypes. His music and poetry bared his soul. When fans gathered at the Cosby Show studio in Brooklyn, leaving teddy bears and notes, or held a vigil on Playa Cocos, it wasn't just for a celebrity. It was for a man who felt like home. Kevin Powell told CBS News, "He was America's son. You'd never know he was a star. He was humble, kind, real." That's the legacy he leaves, a blueprint for authenticity in a world that demands perfection. But there's a shadow to that light. If he was hurting, he hid it too well. And that's the question that lingers. How do we honor someone who gave so much? Malcolm-Jamal Warner's story isn't just about loss. It's about what we carry forward. He gave us Theo, a character who taught us to keep going, to find humor in the mess, to love fiercely. He gave us music, poetry, a voice for the unheard. But if he was screaming inside, as some fans believe, we missed it. His death reminds us to look closer, to check on the strong ones, the ones who always seem okay. Share this story. Drop a comment about what Theo meant to you. Was it his laugh, his heart, the way he made you feel less alone? Let's keep his light alive by talking, by listening, by loving a little harder, because that couch in the Huxtable living room, it's empty now. But the lessons Malcolm left behind, the warmth he shared, they're still here. And if we hold on to them, he never really leaves.